Chapter 5. We will learn about parallelograms, trapezoids, medians and midpoints. Trapezoids. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral having two, and only two parallel sides. Isosceles trapezoid is trapezoid with congruent leg. Principle 1. The base angles of isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Principle 2. If the base angles of a trapezoid congruent, the trapezoid is isosceles.
Principle involving properties of parallelogram.
Miss, how many principles involve in special parallelograms? There are 8 principles involved. Let me explain to you one by one in the next slide.
Diagonal properties of parallelograms, rectangle, rhombus and square.
Diagonals form 2 pairs of congruent triangles. Diagonals form 4 congruent triangles. Diagonals bisect vertex angles. Diagonals are perpendicular. Diagonals bisect each other. Is it true that a parallelogram is a rectangle, rhombus, or square? What are the principles that prove a parallelogram is a rectangle? Principle 9. A rectangle is a parallelogram having one right angle, then it is a rectangle. Principle 10. If a parallelogram has congruent diagonals, then it is a rectangle. Principle 11. If a parallelogram has congruent adjacent sides, then it is rhombus. Principle 12. If a parallelogram has a right angle and 2 congruent adjacent sides, then it is a square. Principle 1. If 3 or more parallels cut off congruent segments on one transversal, then they cut off congruent segments on any other transversal. Principle 2. If a line is drawn from the midpoint of one side of a triangle and parallel to a second side, then it passes through the midpoint. Principle 3. If a line joins the midpoints of 2 sides of a triangle, then it is parallel to the third side and its length is 1/2 the length of the third side. Principle 4. The median of a trapezoid is parallel to its bases, and its length is equal to 1/2 of the sum of their lengths. Principle 5. The length of the median to the hypotenuse of a right triangle equals 1/2 of the sum of their lengths. Principle 6. The medians of a triangle meet in a point which is 2/3 of the distance from any vertex to the midpoint of.
Created using Powtoon.